guys, Mama Mita here, and today I am visiting Galveston, Texas. And I wanted to give you just a tiny little tour of the city of Galveston and show you all the beautiful areas that they have here. I mean, this is just a beautiful city. I've been coming here since I was a little child. My parents moved from Tampa, Florida, and they moved to Houston because my dad accepted a job working at the ship channel down in Houston as a checker. And so that was back in 1955, 56. And so he worked there. We would spend our weekends here in Galveston, and boy, was it some weekends, let me tell you. In those days, a little different than nowadays. They did the cruising, but they were rowdy. Boy, they were party people. They would drive their cars down. I remember as a child, they would drive their cars down onto the beach. And of course, in those days, we had more of the sand out. It seemed like we had more sand in those days. And they would drive their car down there, and they had all these little hut-looking things. Well, we called them beer joints. And what they were, you would go in there and get your alcohol or your pop and stuff, and your chips and hamburgers and things like that. And everybody was having too much of a good time. But in the end, I think they were having just so much fun, and they were getting a little bit careless and a little bit too wild that they kind of stopped that. Yeah, they moved all those little huts out, and they stopped those cars from coming down, and that was the end of all that. So now you pretty much don't drive your car down on the beach. I think there's still an old part of Stewart Beach that's farther down that you can still kind of go to that area. But yeah, it's a little bit more controlled now. So Galveston, you guys, has suffered a lot through the years with the hurricanes. And, they never know when there's one sitting out there that's coming through. They start up around, I say, like August, and they go into like maybe November, December. But it gets rough during those times. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about some of the events that's happened here in the city and stuff, and we'll keep going. Okay, so now we're back. So now you see that kind of like a cement-looking, dome-looking thing? Okay, as a child, that used to be kind of left over from the military days. And I don't remember exactly how the story went, but we used to be able to go in there with the flashlight. Daddy would give us a flashlight. We could go in there. We didn't go very far because we were scared of the boogeyman. We were afraid that something was going to get us in there. So we didn't go very far. But if you look on top of that, none of that was up there like that. That was all dirt. And what we would do is Daddy would give us a burlap sack or a tow sack, and we would slide down that hill. Of course, we had to be careful about, the cactuses, because they had a lot of cactuses around there. And then you have snakes here too, also in Galveston. So we had to be careful about that. But it's a beautiful hotel now. And that is, I believe that one's the St. Louis Hotel. So, but it's farther down, there's another bigger one, the Hotel Galvez. I want to show you about that hotel. It's a beautiful hotel. Okay, so that's the front part of that hotel.
Okay.
Now we're on the main drag. This is a seawall here. Now, let me see if I can flip my camera right here. Okay, you can see out there. Okay, you see all of that. It's kind of like, looks like a pier. What that is, that you can go out there and fish off of that. You can walk out there too. But those stones are from Spain. They're a pink, I believe it's a pink coral. And they kind of got like a little glitter in them. They're beautiful stones. I find it very hard to find those around here. I can't seem to find anybody who has something like that. But now you see how that drops down. That seawall was built for a reason, because of the hurricane that came in 1900 on September the 8th. Okay, now you see all those buildings there? All of that is part of the military that was here. Galveston had a big military. Remember, this is a port. This was like the number 2 port in the United States in the 1900s. So this was a very busy area, and they had their military all in here. Okay, so now we're at the famous pescados. Oh boy.
Yeah, boy.
He says he caught this or somebody caught this in Galveston Bay. Now that's a blue crab, but I don't believe they get that big. I think that's a tall crab tail. Now, Nick, he's got a big size shrimp there. I almost believe that Gulf shrimps could be real because the Gulf of Mexico has some of the biggest shrimp I've ever seen. They are just absolutely huge. What was that? Did you see that sign? That said fried Oreos. Now, I never had a fried Oreo before, but I might have to go over and try that one just to brag because my husband likes the blondie Oreos. So I might have to check that one out to see what that's like at Nick's. Okay. So now you see that there, that replaced the flagship. There used to be a big hotel that sat out there on that pier. And it had some problems and stuff, and then it got damaged because of one of the hurricanes, I believe. And then what happened was, I think he pretty much collected the insurance on it and pretty much done away with that because it was just too much. I guess he wasn't really making that much money off the hotel. We stayed there once. I didn't find anything thrilling about that hotel at all. It was very hard to park up there at all. But now it's been replaced with Pleasure Pier is what the name of it is. And so it has one of those Bubba Grump places there. And it seems to be pretty busy. There's also a Snitterbomb here that's with water, the water park. That's very big and famous. They've got one of those here in Galveston too, I heard. But that's what replaced the flagship, was out there. Now, when I was a child, the water out here was a lot cleaner. And the beach, the sand was white. It was so white and beautiful. I remember, but it was on a sunny day in the summer. It was really hot. You had to wear your flip-flops or some type of shoe because, my goodness sakes, your feet would be like on fire. Now, as the years went by and now we're into the 2000s and stuff, the water has gotten more dirtier, probably pretty much because the Mississippi drains into this Gulf. And then the sand has gotten dirtier. It's not as white as it used to be when I was a child growing up. Could be because, it's had some, the storms and stuff and stirred stuff up, but it was a lot more prettier back in the 50s and 60s. Okay, so now here is our pride and joy of Galveston, Hotel Galvez. The most beautiful hotel, just absolute beautiful hotel. I mean, wow. I stayed in there one time and it's a lovely hotel to stay at. Now, this one has a lot of history. This one's got some sad history to it. Hotel Galvez, okay. I'm not sure exactly if this is the original building. I don't think so. This is probably built after this happened. Okay, but let me see if I got this history right. Usually my sister could rattle off all this history, and she loved to ride around Galveston and tell me all these things and stuff. She was like a school teacher with all the history and stuff, and it was always just the swellest time to be able to do that with her. But in 2020 of August, she lost her life to leukemia. So this time I'm doing this little mini tour by myself, and I'm not really a history buff, but I'm just trying to remember some of the things that she told me about. All the beautiful stuff that went on in Galveston and stuff. Okay, well, yellow fever came to Galveston, and it hit pretty hard. So there was the Catholic nuns. They had a place that was more out of Galveston, like not right, in this beach part area here. But the yellow fever came here, and some of the families lost their life and stuff. There was and the children didn't have their parents, and so the nuns took these kids up. There were 93 children. At a building and stuff, and they started an orphanage. So September, everything was doing great until September the 7th, and because we didn't have the technology in those days. What happened was that a storm came in and it came out into the Gulf. and it sit out there, and then September the 7th, it brewed, and it came in, and it hit Galveston. And these nuns were not prepared for that. Nobody was prepared for that, of the devastation of that hurricane and the great storm, they call it, if you watch the video, of 1900. So the nuns did not know what to do, and 4 of the little boys, they got out, and the nuns moved those kids over to the boys section, but the nuns was worried because the winds was high, and it was just a really bad storm. So they took the clotheslines and they tied them to the children of these 93 kids, connecting each child, and they tied that to their waist. The roof collapsed in that building, and the nuns and the children all perished. Children and the nuns. But this is the place that it happened, is at this area here. There's this, there's supposed to be a marking the area, but I don't see it. So anyway, we'll go on to the next place. So this area here is where the famous Polynesia room was located, and that was a kind of a big nightclub and stuff. But it had some rough boys in there. Anyway, one of the hurricanes came through and it took it right off. Just took it with it. I mean, that was another one. Flagship, and then the Balinese gone too. So many things have been destroyed. The city's been really good about rebuilding, but that is hard, to live in a city where you constantly have to be reminded that there's another hurricane coming through sometime in the future. And you have to prepare for that. That's a lot of work to prepare for a hurricane, and then a lot of work after the hurricane's left to clean up all the mess and the devastation that it's left behind. Okay, so that there is the famous Stuart Beach, and Stuart Beach, where you can still drive your car down there to the beach and hang out at the beach, but that's pretty much the last part of hanging out at the beach with your car. Now, I came on this trip and I was expecting to be able to go to the state park, but unfortunately, the state park is in a big remodeling going on right now. So, I have to stay in a hotel. I'm at the Town Plaza, really a nice place, but there's a lot of beautiful hotels in Galveston now. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but this place got some well-known restaurants and chefs here. It's pretty much getting a big name for itself, like New Orleans is. I like to come and look at those places like that because I like to not necessarily go inside and eat at those, because a lot of those places, I can't eat their food because it's got too much salt for me. But I do like to look at them outside of the door area where they show their menu and read all the ingredients, and pretty much in my mind look and think about how they put that dish together and stuff. That to me is it's a thrill to do that. So that's what I do. I like to go and look at the restaurants and see what the menus being presented to folks, and kind of like, just kind of snoop, Anyway, and so this here is kind of a section that really hasn't been developed much. I don't know why, but it just really has never really done too much. It's always been kind of like this, But at the end is where the boats will pass through going out to the Gulf. And it's all somehow or another connects back to the ship channel where my dad worked at, because he used to get all those boats from different countries and stuff.
A few moments later.
But I'm thinking that maybe this might be the lowest part of Galveston, and maybe that seawall just wouldn't take care of everything. Well, if that's the case, I would say they would have a big problem if a hurricane comes through there, because what's going to protect them from being flooded out? I don't know. I'd be kind of worried on that one. Okay, so at the end down here is where it opens up, and then you're you got the ships passing through. So I'm going to turn around now. Okay, so that out there is Beach Town. Now, if you look close enough, those houses look like they're on stilts. So that, I guess they're waiting for the flood to happen. They're preparing. That's their way of preparing themselves. But I don't know about that. I mean, like, those winds can get really strong here, and that water can move things around. I don't, if you take like a Category 5, I just don't see that surviving a Category 5 hurricane coming through there. I would say that would just snap them right off of those poles. But they're cute. They look nice and stuff. I mean, I can see like, heavy rains and flooding and stuff like that. But a Hurricane 5, I don't see that lasting over that one. Yeah. Okay, so now this part here gets you going to the ferry area. Now you see all those palm trees? Oh my goodness, in the 50s and 60s, this place had lots of palm trees, but they just they can't keep up with the hurricanes that passes through it. It's expensive replacing all that stuff. So the ferry would take you over to Bolivar Point. Now I haven't been here in a while, so let me make sure that I'm doing this the right way. I don't want to get in the wrong area and then get in trouble,
I don't know.
I know I don't want to get on the ferry, so I'm just trying to make sure I get on the side that doesn't go to the ferry. Okay, so you would come here and you would take the ferry across over to the Bolivar Point, and then you go down that section of road, kind of a really tall grassy area. And at that grassy area and stuff, that will take you back to the freeway. That will take you either back to Houston or to going towards Beaumont, going over to Lake Charles and to New Orleans. So there you go. You've got your ferry right in there. And those ferries, they fill up. Okay, so I'm going to head back. Trying to hold a camera and drive too. I mean, like, I can't seem to figure out how to position my little phone holder up in the window. Let me just tell you guys, technology and I don't always get along too well. We have issues. It's either the camera or it's trying to find my glasses. I already lost a pair of glasses today. I don't know how I did it. I was getting a new battery for my stick, and I've got stick battery problems, and then I got in the car and couldn't find my glasses. I'm like, well, where's the glasses? Oh, I don't know. I just buy the cheap ones because I lose them, and they're just reading glasses anyway. Okay, now we're getting back to the downtown, going towards the downtown area, towards Broadway Street. Now, Broadway has all the beautiful homes, the historical homes. It's got the Bishop Palace and a few homes that I don't know what they were used for or why they were there, like the original owners and stuff. I don't remember that. But if you notice all these palm trees, look at that. They planted some new ones there. That's nice. I just remember all these palm trees when I was a child growing up. And it was really nice. Back in the 50s and 60s, this place was just hopping. Every Sunday, every Saturday, Sunday, we were down here. We'd come fishing and crabbing. My dad had a little small boat and would bring it down, and we would all bring back fish and crab from being down here on Galveston Island. So now we're getting into the part where they have a big university here, and they also have a Shriners hospital here for the burn victims. Nice hospital. Those people do good work, they're good people. And so they've got a big place here also on Galveston Island. Now let's see if you can look out there and see all those people out there having a nice day today. Wow. It's a beautiful day here. It's actually hot. I still have a little bit of my winter clothes. I'm preparing myself for going up to New Hampshire because I'm sure it's cold up there still yet. Okay, so now we're getting down here, and we're going towards the Strand and the antique historical homes. There's a huge, big cemetery here. Now I'm gonna turn the camera so you can I'm gonna try to drive slow though. I just don't want to get in trouble driving too slow, because people tend to drive faster than what I drive here. Like, I can't do that 75 on the freeway. I don't like that. They get really upset about me not driving fast enough. You know, guys, the reason is I just don't drive fast enough is because I always have children that I'm taking to school and taking care of. And so I drive slower because I never know when I've got somebody that I have to say, hey, get the seatbelt back on, you know. I gotta have eyes in the back of my head. And they'll tell you Grandma's got eyes in the back of their head, in the back of her head. Okay, so now here we go with some of the beautiful buildings here. Look at that. That's just gorgeous. Some of these buildings are so old, I'm sure that they're from like the 1800s. A lot of this stuff got destroyed from that hurricane that hit in the 1900s. Now, I don't know if I mentioned, but there was between 6,000 to 8,000 people that was killed during that hurricane. And can you believe that as they dig around and they try to build new things, they still find bodies? So there is an unknown amount of people that died because of that hurricane. They just do not know how many people really did die. They'll never get the real amount. And they're big on their Mardi Gras here. I believe Mardi Gras is maybe, I think, March the 2nd. And boy, they are getting ready for it. Walmart is packed with stuff. If I was looking for Mardi Gras supplies, I'd hit Walmart up because, boy, they got a lot of stuff. They got like 3 or 4 aisles of stuff. And I remember we came here one time, my husband and I came here one time, and they had the Mardi Gras parade, and that was a lot of fun. Okay, so there's another very famous home there.
Oh my God! Wow!
Now that's kind of stuff you're going to see down here in the South. You know, like they like that sort of thing. And you see a lot of this style of house in New Orleans. And that's a lot of work, all that wrought iron is. Looks like they're working on this house. You know, when you got homes like that, that's a lot of upkeep to homes like that. So we're going to keep on going. I'm not sure whose house that is. That might be the Ashton Villa. Okay, so let's go down a little bit farther, and then we're going to turn right and go to the Strand. Now, Galveston, in the 1900, before the hurricane hit, was a booming town because of its, you can see that one there, because of its post office and its first bank. This place was really busy. Really, really busy place. And there's a beautiful. You can tell that it's got a little bit of Spanish influence in here too. Okay, so now we're going to go down, turn and go down to the Strand. And on the way here, I saw a little trolley. So it looks to me like there's a trolley that you can ride around the town and discover, you know, the town too. I'm sure you could probably pick up some sort of brochure or something that would tell you about all the different things that you would see with the little trolley. Beautiful buildings. Now the water during the great hurricane, it rose to 15 feet down in this area here. 15 feet. So in other words, it went to I would say probably the second floor. So I'm going to move over here and stop for a second. Okay, so we're back on again. I had to put down my camera really quick because there was a police officer behind me, and you know, each state has their own laws and regulations and stuff, and so I don't need to get no ticket. I haven't had one all my life, and I don't think I need to get one now. And anyway, I want you to look at the beautiful buildings down here. Absolutely incredibly beautiful buildings. These things are so old, and they've withstood all this hard times of these hurricanes and stuff. And imagine 15 feet of water coming through here and settling. It took days for that water to go down, days. And those little boys in that orphanage, the ones that escaped, the water that night, they stayed for days before a day and a half, they said, to find them. Now, there's another beautiful building down there. So this section here is all gearing up for Mardi Gras. Oh, yeah. Boy, they sure like that Mardi Gras. So, look at all that. Oh my goodness, there's a big shop there for Mardi Gras. Hats and feathers and letting you know that, hey, they're the store to buy the stuff. I don't know, but Walmart's got it too, though. Okay, we're going to turn down this one here. And the cruise ships come here. They got them parked over there, ready. Take you anywhere you want to go. Same thing like New Orleans. They got them down there parked also. When we had our care home, I flew down here with my residents, or flew to New Orleans. And go ahead. Flew to New Orleans. And we took the cruise ship out of New Orleans to Jamaica, Mexico, and Grand Cayman Islands. Had a grand time on that boat. Boy, those guys sure did like that. 7 days on the cruise ship. A lot of fun there. Okay, I'm going to stop the camera. And this here is some more of the Strand. Now, I don't know if these buildings are have copper in them like Portland's buildings and Seattle buildings that are old like that. But a lot of those old buildings like that, they use copper. Buildings, downtown buildings in Portland, Oregon, and Seattle has got a lot of copper in them. And this is your railroad museum. And I heard that there was a place here that you can go to, and maybe it's a railroad museum, and they've got all the old cars and stuff that you can check out and see. I don't know if that's the place, but it would be kind of interesting to see where that place is at. They have well, the last time I was here, they have the movie called The Great Storm, which is about the 1900 hurricane that came through. A lot of bicycle riders through here. And this is one of the things that I wanted to do, was to ride my bike from Tampa, Florida, all the way to Galveston. But because I got sick and I got like a little unhealthy there for a while, so now I'm going to have to build my body back up, maybe next year. Okay, so now we're coming back to Broadway, and you can kind of see that little place there. Now that's the Moody Mansion. There was sure a lot of money here back in the 1900s. Now this road here, this is Broadway, and this is the last, kind of like almost the end part before you cross back over the big bridge, it would take you back to the Highway 45 that would take you into Houston. You know, Houston's a very beautiful town too. Houston's changed a lot since I was a little girl growing up there. It's a beautiful downtown area. They have a great, nice zoo there in Houston, the Houston Zoo. They've got the planetarium, the Baker's Planetarium. While that was always a fun thing to do, they got the Houston Symphony. I know as children growing up, we would get every year an opportunity. The school would take us on the school bus down there with a little bus tour to take us to the symphony, the opera, and the planetarium and the zoo. We would go for the day. We did all those things. Oh, it was such a fun day. And that's where I learned to love opera. I don't think there's anybody in my family that likes opera, but I learned to like opera and symphony, going to symphonies and stuff like that from the school, from the Roland P. Harris Elementary School. My goodness sakes. That's one good thing I can say about the schools. And you know, another thing is at Texas schools, I remember you had Spanish. You had Spanish classes. And so I got a little bit of Spanish class what time I got to go to school and stuff. So it was nice, you know. The Texas schools are pretty good. So I guess, you guys, now we're getting to the very end part. There's so many more things to see in Galveston. You know, I just don't remember everything. It's just a sad thing. My sister's not here today with me to be told. She'd be a newscaster. And there's the big cemetery. Well, one of the big cemeteries. I'm not sure if they do a lot of the things like the New Orleans folks do, where, you know, after 6 months that they, if someone passed away, they just go in and push the bones or the ashes to the back, and then they go ahead and rebury someone else. And they kind of like, you know, they take care of their bones. Interesting, their system. Okay. A lot of beautiful restaurants here. Delicious food. Oh my gosh, just delicious food. And some of the nicest, biggest shrimp. Seems like they're pretty big here with Italian food in Galveston. Okay. I'm going to pull over here to this little spot here. There you go. You got your Texas flag flying, your state flag. I'm not sure what that white flag is. But anyway. Okay, guys. Well, I guess that's the end of my little mini tour of Galveston. It's time for me to go get something to eat, I guess. I'm not sure what I'm going to eat. I'll probably go back to the Strand and just get like a little sandwich or something, or a little appetizer. You know, that's where my sister and I and her daughter would meet down at the Strand and have a beer. I'm not into alcohol, but or beer, but I can have, you know, an iced tea. Oh yeah, a sweetened iced tea. Oh, are you kidding me? Yes, please. Maybe a sweetened iced tea with a tuna salad sandwich. I like tuna, you know.
Nice.
So much. And if you've enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up on this little Galveston mini tour. Remember, you guys, this is a wonderful place to come and visit. You can schedule a cruise out of Galveston, come like 3 or 4 days at a time, and tour the city and see all the interesting things and go to the beach and stuff, and then hop on your cruise, you know, and go to your destination, have a fun time and stuff, and come back. And then guess what? You can get your little rental car, or you can get the bus and go back down to Houston. And you can take the bus all around Houston, because Houston has a lot of cool stuff too. They got some really great restaurants down in Houston. They've got one that's down by Sharpstown that's Arabic food, and that one is like going into a buffet type of thing. It's the most unusual thing. I've never in my life seen so many different types of hummus that they have in that restaurant, and you have to be hungry to go there. Make sure that you've really been without food for a long time. Like maybe don't eat breakfast or lunch and then go for dinner. By that time your tongue's hanging out and you're ready to eat anything, and it's like you're starving because there's a lot of food for the amount of money, and you just go there and and they just keep bringing food and like, oh my gosh. Really, really nice place down by Sharpstown. It's Arabic food, and it's like you just need to check it out. There's a lot of great Chinese restaurants downtown also. There's just lots and then there's the big Greek restaurant that's downtown in
Hey, that's pretty good.
like right near the hospitals and stuff. I think it's Nico's maybe. I always like to stop at Nico's and have a little bite there at Nico's too. Maybe I might do that on Sunday after church. They have the big Orthodox church, St. George Orthodox Church at Bissonnette. Yes! So, you guys, have a great day. Thank you very much. And if you enjoyed my video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Thank you. Bye now.